not eating or drinking. Well, the permanent exhibits at the museum explore larger themes of county history. Our changing exhibits allow us to tell interesting stories of businesses, organizations, and cities. Anniversaries are important milestones for cities, so the 50th anniversary of your incorporation made this year an appropriate time for us to focus on the history of Foster City. We cannot tell the story of a community without involving members of the community. I would like to extend our thanks to both the City of Foster City and the Foster City Historical Society for their assistance in putting together this exhibit. We worked together to determine and develop the 4 themes represented. A special thanks to T. Jack Foster. The exhibit includes several images donated to the Historical Association by T. Jack Foster in 2014. Foster City Through the Years officially opens on Tuesday, August 10th, and will be on exhibit here in the Rotunda through January 2nd. I would also like to mention that last Saturday we had a very well-received webinar presentation by Richard Hopper on the construction of Foster City, 1960 to 1980. A recording of that presentation is available on our website, historysmc.org. The presentation has already been viewed over 230 times. At this time, I would like to introduce the Mayor of Foster City, Sanjay Gahani.
You all hear me?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to be here with the Fosters, representatives from the Chamber of Commerce, city staff, my fellow council members. We've got the council member Fruitman over here, we've got council member Sullivan right over here, Vice Mayor Alvestein in the back, and we have, I'm sure in spirit, we have council member Hindley who's out of town at the moment. And I want to, it's my pleasure to welcome you all here to this photo exhibit of Foster City. And out of all the beautiful photos that we have up here, I tell you the one that's really near and dear to my heart is the rubber ducky race. And with the leadership of staff, everything goes well. On September 25th, we're bringing rubber ducky races back to Foster City. But it's amazing to see the progress that's been made. As you look at some of these pictures, the San Mateo Bridge and coming into an empty Foster City, you see the progress that's been made in Foster City over 50 years is absolutely incredible. I'm also very happy to be here with members of the Foster City Historical Society. Larry Staley, Evan Adams, who are here with us. And they represent a great organization whose mission, ranges from educating the public about the history of Foster City to Foster City's civic pride through the promotion of the city to transmitting the history of Foster City to newcomers. So with that, I'd like to welcome Larry and Evan to come share.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the entire council, and sad that Sam can't join us tonight. My name is Evan Adams. I'm the president of the Foster City Historical Society. And, a phrase that I often use is you can't figure out where you are going until you figure out where you came from. And so my real hope of this exhibit is that it will help illuminate that idea for our town, and people can see where we came from, and really get an idea of the progress and where we're going in the future. I really must thank Foster City Parks manager Tiffany Oren. I can't thank her enough. She showed tremendous leadership in this whole process. She kept us focused, organized, and most importantly, on schedule, making sure that we were in those Zoom meetings every week or every couple of weeks as we went through this whole process. Also, must thank the San Mateo History Director, Carmen Blair, and unfortunately she can't be with us today, the curator, Dana Neisel. Both of them, such thanks. They taught us a lot in this process because in the process, you learn a lot about preserving history. What we learned better rules and better procedures on how to take in artifacts and how to preserve them, how to legally own them. And that sort of process is the sort of thing that these sort of exhibits teach us to do better in the future. As a reminder, this exhibit is going to be here for the balance of 2021. And then in the first quarter of 2022, it's going to migrate over to the Rec Center in Foster City. So we'll be working on that, bringing it over there. Everyone in town can come on over, check it out. You should have the same, everything should be more or less the same. And hopefully COVID will be over by then. Everyone can come on down to the Rec Center and check it out. I'd like to remind all the leaders here, I appreciate any help you can give us. Foster City Historical Society is also doing an essay contest as part of our 50th anniversary. We're doing it in association with the Press Club of San Mateo, and it's a competitive essay contest. You can submit your applications, there's prizes, and most importantly, there's prizes if you're a kid or a high schooler. And so you can come in, submit something, win a prize, and put it on that college application. Please encourage anyone you know to participate in that. Finally, the Foster City Historical Society has been around since the 1980s. And our next speaker, Larry Staley, is a founding member of the Historical Society. He's been with us the entire time. And he is the person who reached out to me and said, Evan, come get involved. I know you're enjoying this sort of thing. Be part of curating your history. So I thank Larry for heading up all the efforts, really the overall project of bringing this to the museum. And Larry's going to tell us some more about Paul Desens. Thank you.
I might repeat bits of what the other speakers said, but I want to go a little more detail on the exhibit and some aspects of it. And again, the first order of business, I might repeat a little bit, but I really want to honor this team that made this happen, proposing representation from our city of Foster City, the San Mateo County Historical Museum, and of course our own Foster City Historical Society. Tiffany, you were great. Tiffany was the one behind the scenes leading us every week at the meeting and making sure, as Kevin said, we were on track, on schedule, and even looking out for the details too. So I appreciate that. That's a great job that you did. I can't say enough about the staff here at the History Museum. Carmen has already spoken as part of that group. Deborah's not here, but Deborah, the archivist, has it down a couple times to look at this, and she was a great host. And of course, Dana, who was Dana the other day? Boy, the curator did such a remarkable job of really the hands-on putting this finally together. And, you can see the kind of quality work that Dana does. And of course, Deborah and I were sort of I want to mention the dinosaur also. So I didn't want to forget about you. So thank you for the Foster City Historical Society present today. I want to point out that this was not an easy project. I think Kevin mentioned that. I want to get a little bit more about the challenges we had. We had a lot of potential pictures we had to look at. And you don't realize when you look at a picture, but there may be a question about the resolution. There may be a question about the quality. So just to take a picture and say you can blow it up like that, no, it doesn't work that way. Even a portrait versus landscape, which become a couple of pictures, can become an issue. So fortunately, we worked as a team, especially with Dana's input, to resolve all that and to finally come up with, I think, 8 outstanding pictures that represented these themes. And the 4 themes that were suggested originally by Dana, I think, really speak to the heart and soul of our city over these past 50 years. From a historical standpoint, before Foster City, we think of Brewer Island. And the one thing that's disappointing about the Brewer Island time is that we've not gotten a lot of pictures of that here. We're talking about 1950s, 40s, and prior decades to that. For various reasons, I don't like it. I thought duck hunters took pictures of it. Ducks because that looks amazing. But it's the next two things I think that really drive us home, both the vision and building the city, to speak about us as a community. We, of course, salute to Jack Crosby Jr. and his family, who had the vision to create this community, and were willing to invest the time and money to do all that was necessary to allow the community to go. Yeah, there were other communities at that time that developed. Irvine, California, and Columbia, Maryland. I don't think Irvine and Columbia had to do any major dredging work. They might have had a thirst of cattle out of arranged to build the city, but what was done here was extraordinary and very, very unique. But in the end, what makes a community possible? It's the people. And that's why we look at the fourth of the people of Foster City. We've been very fortunate, I think, in this regard over the years that we've had a great amount of diversity in people who live in the city. I don't want to go into the whole thing about the Land-Lease Association. And your father, of course, wanted that as part of the community buying culture. That's awesome. But over the years, we just have so many different people in the city, and I think that makes things very remarkable. We also have great weather, we have a great outdoor infrastructure, so we can go out and do all the cool things we want to do, whether it's something crazy like that as a group, or just go jogging or walking around the Pedway. Once we get the Pedway reopening, so I think that this exhibit, well, considering all of us who first lived here, and still may live here, and have helped to create this legacy, I'm actually thinking more in terms of the peninsula, the peninsula cities, and most importantly, Foster City, of all the new people that have only lived here maybe 10 years, 5 years, 2 or 3 years. I get excited. I run into people sometimes. I read a couple with one of the food trucks the previous Wednesday. I met some history, something they want to know more. They started asking questions. They're curious. They want to, and eventually they want to contribute. So I'm hoping that over these next few months, these are the kind of people we want to come here to see this museum over early 22 up in Foster City. And who knows, maybe with their increased interest and curiosity, they'll want to be part. Maybe they'll be part of our historical site. They'll want to volunteer with the county historical museum. So that's what I would look forward to. Thank you.